Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
I'm not 100% sure this warrants it, but we're going to pour one out. For the old price of something you may love. I love it to death. It's one of my favorite things on earth. But the price is going up for the first time since 2017. First time in 17 years, a subscription service, if you will. Mm-hmm. And it is the Costco membership price.
Okay, wait, this actually affects me, so now I'm listening to you.
Thanks for listening now.
Yes, now I'm in.
I mean, this. I've been a member of Costco for 20 years. The one on Clybourne in Lincoln Park, that's my Costco. And I've been a member there since it opened when there was almost nobody going in there.
You're like patient zero.
Yeah. Do you remember the first thing you bought in there?
I do, because I bought...
Lotion and Kleenex. You're like, I just need to find a way to get a lot of it. I'm spending so much money.
How dare you? But you're not far off. No, I had just bought... I lived in studio apartments, small apartments, so I just bought a condo. I had a little bit more room, and I had nothing to put in it. And I said, I'm going to have a housewarming party.
Oh, boy.
And I did nothing. I was
nothing to warm.
I had nothing at all. And someone said, you should go get a membership to that place, Costco, because you can buy like burgers, dogs. You could buy probably chairs and everything for a grill out and all that kind of stuff. So I did. I went and bought a membership at the time, and I think it was $50 then. I can't remember. But I saved so much money on everything I bought. I already paid for the membership, basically, because everything was so cheap. And now the membership is $65 for the regular membership. It's been that since 2017. I'm sorry, it's $60 now. It's going up to $65. $5 increase.
What about the executive?
So that's what I have.
That's what I have, too.
I guess you guys have had good years.
Well,
not really, because let me tell you something. The executive because it's like 120 right now.
It's 120 right now.
So it's 120 right now. If you don't save $120, they will refund you what it costs of the membership.
Okay.
So it's really like there's no danger. Like, you'll get your money back if you don't save it. So that's why I did it. Because I was like, I don't want to spend that. Yeah.
And so just so you understand, Case, with the executive membership, the more...
Explain it to a poor person.
This is not poor.
This is to help us save money. You don't have children. They don't stop. Every time Tristan sees me eating, he grabs it out of my hand. I need stockpiles of things. He walks up to me after dinner.
Kenzie hasn't eaten in weeks.
Oh, my God. He was eating dessert, and I'm like, well, I'm just going to have some pistachios. He's like, can I have some of that? And I'm like, okay. So I hand him that, and then I go grab something else. He goes like, what's that? Can I have a bite of that? I'm like, there's 4 things in front of you. Eat one of those.
Okay, Brian, so explain it to me like I'm a dumb, poor moron real quick.
Well, with the executive membership, you receive 2% cash back on your Costco purchases. So basically, you end up making money the more you spend. So if you spend a certain amount, which that number, by the way, is, let's see here, $3,250 a year, you'll balance out even with that membership, with the $120 membership.
Okay.
Because you'll get $120 back.
Uh-huh.
And then everything above that is gravy. That's your free money. You know what I mean? To explain, I have spent more than that this year. I got a check for $130 back because I buy, like Kenzie said, I buy wipes for the baby, diapers. Oh. I buy my Coke Zeros there. I buy paper towels. I buy toilet paper. I buy my chicken breasts. So it all adds up, and it's cheaper, way cheaper than other stores, but You're buying a lot of it, and I'm using all of it. Nothing goes to waste.
Wow. Nothing goes to waste.
And I get money back.
It's the best. And it's also, when I sign up, a lot of times if you're signing up for a membership, they give you a bunch of free stuff. So off the bat, I signed up for this membership. They gave me like a $15 gift card. I'm like, okay. And then they also gave me 3 free pizzas.
Oh.
I'm like, okay. And what they gave me when I signed, they gave me $150 worth of stuff for signing up for 120. Yeah. It was unbelievable.
They have the best customer service. There was that story a few months ago about the girl that took back a couch she used for 5 years and took it back, and they just gave her the cash for it. Like, they don't care. Their customer service is ridiculous.
You can't lose money. You can't.
I took back the egg whites. I'd used the egg whites, took back half a carton, and they gave me the money back. No, there was something wrong with them. It was just, which happens sometimes.
What was wrong with them?
There's no yolks.
That reminds me of in King of Queens where they're making Arthur eat healthier, and so they give him egg whites for breakfast. He goes, "Where's the yellow part? I like that. That's the baby bird."
Arthur's a pain in the ass, man. I watched that and thought, I can never let an in-law, like, that's what I've taken is, like, no in-law can move in because whoever it is going to be Arthur, and I can't do it.
So Costco's membership in September 1st, the $60, the regular, the Gold Star membership goes to $65, and the executive goes for is $120. It's going to go to $130. Now, I can tell you, this won't affect me at all. I shouldn't say this because Costco might be listening. They could triple it, and I would keep the membership because of what I get back for it. Gas last week was 50 cents cheaper a gallon. Per gallon. Right there, that alone over the year, you get money back on the membership. And then everything else inside the store. Plus, it's my happy place. Case gets mad because I give Case a ride home because we live near each other. And then I'll say, I'm going to Costco. I got to make a run. And he wants to go, but I kind of go.
Why do you bring him?
Because I got to have some place I'm alone.
Do many people are at Costco?
No, alone, just me alone. Like, I don't want to be with anybody in there.
Well, tell him to walk around so he can see it. He can go get a hot dog for like 40 cents.
Oh, my God, really?
The hot
$1.50,
dog, it's $1.50, but it includes the drink.
Oh, my God.
So you can get a drink and a hot dog that's like a foot long. It's not a normal hot dog. It's huge, and it's $1.50.
Brian, can we go to Costco today?
No.
Let him go, bring him, and just let him get a snack while you walk around. That's what I do with my kids. I just sit here.
Here's what he
So
says.
Case is my kid now?
Yeah, well, basically.
I have a kid at home while at daycare, but
Here's what Brian says. He goes, it's just, I'm always around somebody. I have a baby and I have a wife, and I just need to be alone
Amen.
sometimes.
I don't know if I don't let me for credit if Megan's listening. I don't say it that angry. I do not say it like that.
Whatever. It's true. It's how it feels. Listen, like, we tag team the baby's bedtime because I do the bath and like all this stuff. I feed him and do bath and and everything.
What's weird about that, Brian?
That was a weird way to say it. I don't know. We tag team the
Split
baby.
it up because it's a lot of work. And then my husband comes home and feeds him his bottle and rocks him to sleep, so that way I can like get going on like the rest of my work night because he can't rein the baby in for a bath and stuff like that. The sounds that come out of that bathroom when I'm like, are you waterboarding him? Like, he normally likes this, so I do all that part. And when I'm done, because my son Tristan's already like, he's usually playing video games. Let me have dessert. Let me do this. I always just go stand in our bedroom for like a minute and a half because I'm like, done with the baby. And if I walk downstairs, I'm going to have to answer 50 questions from Tristan. So I'm just going to stand here for like 60 seconds. Like I just have to stand here before and mentally prepare myself to walk down the stairs. And so I get it.
It's my only alone. Even Megan, my wife, I go, look, do you want to go to Costco with me? She goes, no, I like you. I know you like going alone. She understands me. That's why we're
you
married.
should let Case see it once. Because he can't go by himself. He doesn't have a membership.
No, I'm poor.
You should let him see it.
I don't have executive money like you do.
I'm not 100% sure because recently they've changed it where they check your membership card now all the time.
You can bring somebody.
You can still bring somebody?
Walk in the building with you. He can't go check out without you. You can walk in the building, Brian.
Because I used to be able to take somebody with me and they could buy stuff. I don't think you can do that anymore.
He may not be able to buy stuff, but they're not going to tackle him at the door.
That'd
He's
be
allowed to walk in.
Like to catch a predator, Case walks in. He tries to buy a can
They
of...
can tell he's broken house, tackle him.
He tries to get like a case of Mountain Dew. They just the cans go everywhere and they all explode.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q 101.
All right, we can't put it off any longer. We got to get to it and see what Case, the producer, 25 years old, who's never seen Footloose, what he thinks. 40 years ago it came out this year with Kevin Bacon, the original Footloose, and Sarah Jessica Parker, a very young Sarah Jessica Parker.
I love her so much.
Who went on to so much success with Sex and the City.
I love that show.
So let's go back and take you to 1984. This is the actual trailer for the movie Footloose.
He's a big city kid living in a small town.
A lot of folks are going to give you problems right off.
He's going to wake him up,
Is there a law against loud music?
shake him up,
Ren McCormick made a lot of people stop and think.
and turn him around.
Footloose.
A lot of Kenny Loggins. Wait, so it just fades out the trailer?
That's it. It's not
that.
a great trailer.
Oh.
It started off great.
I thought we were just getting started.
It peters out.
And I'm like, what's next?
How does a commercial trailer just fade out?
It just fades out.
Because there's a lot of dancing, you see.
That's the thing.
The feet are loose.
I love the first line. I got to play it again.
Please.
The first line.
He's a big city kid living in a small town.
A lot of folks are going to give you problems right off.
I love that guy in the movie. Yeah, you're an outsider. A lot of them give you a lot of problems. Now, he's from Chicago in the movie.
Yes,
Yes,
he
he
is.
is.
And he moves to a little town wherever.
And you can tell he acts like a real Chicagoan.
Because Chicagoans like to dance and do gymnastics.
He's a real man. When he runs to that warehouse, you're like, oh, he's from Chicago. Obviously.
I'm not trying to get ahead of anything, but when he runs to that warehouse,
That's my favorite scene.
I thought he was selling drugs and was going to sell to people. Instead, he does gymnastics in the barn.
I wish you would have done drugs instead.
I love when he was just jumping off. It's so fun.
All right, so let's get into Case, the producer who watched Footloose yesterday afternoon, which I can't even imagine you watching this in your apartment.
You know
watching
what's funny real quick? Is that I had to pause this movie halfway through because I had to have a friend come over and help me with something. And he comes in and goes, "You're watching Footloose?" So embarrassing.
Also, just the sound through the walls. Like, everybody around you is like, watching Footloose downstairs.
One more note, Case is moving Monday out of this apartment, so people are coming to look at his current apartment.
That's right.
And so the leasing people are bringing up people when you're watching Footloose while they're showing your apartment.
What's up, fellas?
Okay, so Case, tell us about Footloose and your experience with this movie.
I'm so glad I don't live in a small town.
That's your first thought?
This is my first thought, is this is another 80s movie. And I guess Dazed and Confused was a 70s movie, but we keep on running into this reoccurring theme with all the movies that I've watched where these kids have nothing to do.
Amen.
And this is a movie where it is essentially highlighted, because I think the best scene is not the dancing in a warehouse scene, which I do want to talk about, but the tractor joust scene where they run tractors at each other.
Yes.
Here's what happens in a small town. A guy named Chuck makes fun of Kevin Bacon for wearing a tie. And then Kevin Bacon is like, "Oh, you're a pansy," which I think I can say. Can I say that word?
Well, that's the word of the time.
Yeah.
They're talking about a guy with a skinny tie.
Yeah. So Kevin Bacon wears a skinny tie. He gets called a pansy. Kevin Bacon calls him that right back. And then the next logical conclusion is, we're going to race tractors head on.
Okay, you have no respect. That's how you settle things.
That's right.
That's our Saturday.
So you don't know how me and Kenzie grew up. That's how you settle things back in the day with tractor.
I would have rather them just cyberbullied each other.
No, it's boring.
So good.
This is
my
real.
God.
This is real.
This movie's bizarre. I don't even know where to begin. It's a movie about a guy who goes to Chicago, or goes from Chicago to a small town, I think in Texas. I got Texas vibes from it.
I always thought it was like Nebraska or something.
The middle of the country is a wasteland. Who knows? It's all a bunch of things.
Okay, let's not
I wouldn't say
stereotype.
that.
There's some fine folks in Omaha, in Des Moines.
You need to relax.
Yeah, how dare you?
There's nothing going on in this town. They're not allowed to do anything. They're all obsessed with teenagers not having sex. Whereas in Dazed and Confused, it was like, oh, we're going to spank some teens. This is all like, you better not dance. Because if you dance, you are going to get revved up and it is going to be a problem.
Oh, Lord.
I find all of that to be so odd. And then you have this bizarre love story with Kevin Bacon and the girl who plays Ariel.
Oh, I had a crush on her.
See, did you? Because I had a thought, and this might sound mean. I had a thought that I wasn't sure she was stereotypically hot enough to play that role.
Lori Singer?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, you like her.
I was infatuated with her. When I
found
first saw the movie.
It's a small town, so, like, she's a local 10. You understand what I'm
You
saying?
know what, Kenzie? That's a great point. I was expecting a Hollywood 10. She was a local 10.
No, but she's
living in a small town. Like, she's got to have that, like, you know, like a bit more girl next door vibe. You have to do that.
Yeah, but her
You
attitude.
can't cast, like, Catherine Zeta-Jones. She's not going to be there.
That would have been great. But I would still say she's like a Naperville 7. Mm-hmm. I think so.
You liked her attitude, though.
I liked her. Well, she was. I'm going to use
There's
a
a lot of people in Naperville really mad that you said that.
Why? Because she's hot.
But Naperville 7, if you're saying that she's not that hot, but there should be a 7 in Naperville. I'm just saying.
Well, he said a 10 in the small town. So I'm saying like a 7 in Naperville.
Yeah.
And I don't want to use a bad word here, but her sluttiness made her like, you know.
But anywho, I'm going to say
I mean, she was.
hands are tied.
She had attitude and sexiness.
Well,
And,
I mean, she yelled in the middle of a church that she wasn't a virgin. That was crazy.
I was hot.
Wow.
I think I'm running into an issue where I watch these 80s movies and there's a lot of talk now about, you know, how things hold up and, young people don't appreciate this or this and it was a different time or whatever. The thing with these 80s movies, it's not the comedy that doesn't hold up. A lot of these movies can still be pretty funny. There's some lines of this movie that I really liked. The thing that doesn't hold up from all of the 80s movies that I've watched is that all of the protagonists are lame. Kevin Bacon is not a cool guy in this movie. First of all, he has a horrible attitude because after doing the tractor joust and after confiscating drugs in the school bathroom, he goes to his home, which I don't understand. It's not his dad. Who's he living with?
He's living with his uncle.
Okay, so his uncle's like, I hear you've been giving us a bad reputation around town. There's been people destroying tractors and maybe doing drugs.
Uh-huh.
All of which Kevin Bacon has been involved with. He's guilty on all fronts. And all he has to say is, well, you're not my dad. It's like, well, yeah, but you're guilty of everything you were just accused of.
Well, he's not his dad, though.
He's not his dad. And also, if you didn't have something like that, we wouldn't have emo music today.
How so? Whoa, whoa.
Because
So put some respect on it.
not necessarily Fall Out Boy, because they grew up in Wilmette and the North Side. I'm sure they had a great mom and dad.
No tractors.
But most, is there a tractor in Wilmette? Most emo bands are based from kids that had to go live with their uncle or their aunt. Their parents divorced and they went to go live with someone and they got angry and
They're
wrote.
Auntie and Uncle in Bel Air.
Go do a deep dive on My Chemical Romance. You'll see where it all started. It started with Footloose, basically going to live with an aunt.
Wow. Who knew?
You're not my dad. You're not my dad. That's like half the songs.
All right, there you go. I found that to be so confusing, where he was just in complete denial of all the trouble that he was causing, but also
Was a teenager.
he's an 18-year-old boy whose two main interests are dance and gymnastics. And
What are you trying to say?
I'm just hung up on that.
And a tough kid from Chicago.
Who all he wants to do is dance.
Yeah. He really wants to dance.
He really wants to dance. He gets to this town. He's like, why is everybody not dancing? I don't understand. I came from the big city. And they're like, well, you're not allowed to do that here, son. I want to dance.
I want to keep up with some of your comments. We're not done with the Footloose review, but Chris checking in from Broadview said about, you're talking about Laurie Singer, Ariel.
Yeah.
Maybe not being hot enough for the lead role. He said, the chubby guy with a mustache is judging a woman's attractiveness.
Ouch.
I love that check-in from Broadview. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your service.
Well, it's hurtful.
That's a tough one for Broadview. That's a punch.
Let's see. We're kind of up against on the break. I want to continue this if you have more.
Yeah, because I watched this movie with Kenzie in mind, because Kenzie said she was in the Footloose musical.
Yeah, in Minneapolis.
Not a lead. She wasn't the sinner that admitted she wasn't a virgin in church.
I was a virgin when I played this role.
That's what's up.
Amen.
But Kenzie said she played somebody that worked in a diner in the Footloose review, and maybe I missed something.
Okay.
But hold on. I didn't see a diner in this movie, and I would love to talk about that in just a few minutes.
And
Because
Kenzie,
I have a story about that.
okay.
Yeah.
And you have your actual line from the musical?
I had more than one line.
Oh,
You jerk.
I'm sorry.
I just have a specific line.
Okay.
Because I was a sassy diner owner.
So-
and now I'm looking back going, I don't know if they would put this line in the musical now. I think it's probably not good.
So I want to hear that.
Yeah.
And I want to hear more, and we'll give the final case review, because there might still be parts of the movie he liked.
We haven't even talked about the big dance scene in the warehouse, where I thought he was going to shoot up heroin, but instead he did interpretive dance.
All right, so we'll get to all that here. The review of Footloose from Case the Producer continues here.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q 101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q 101.
Well, we are right smack dab in the middle and near the conclusion of Case's review of the movie. View is so far, Case can't figure out why a tough kid from Chicago, his loves are gymnastics and dance, into a small town. He tries to save the town in Footloose from a law that says you cannot dance.
Yeah, and I guess before we talk about Kenzie's role in the Footloose musical that I'm so desperate to know more about, the big scenes in this movie, there's three of them. There's him dancing alone in the empty warehouse. There's him showing his best guy friend how to dance. And then there's the final dance scene. And I guess none of that really makes sense to me, because especially when he's in the warehouse, like, he drives away from his uncle because his uncle called him out for his bad behavior that he did take part in but doesn't want to take responsibility for.
Okay, well, spot on for teenager.
Yes. spot on for teenager, but I've never been so angry that I've been forced to dance. That's the confusing thing in all of this, is that if he was going to shoot up drugs, I'd be like, well, I get it. Like, teenagers do that.
Yeah.
But he drove and drove and drove, and then all he did was dance his little heart out. And I find that to be so odd. Who thought of this movie?
Well, me and you have a problem here because me and you can't dance, and Kenzie can.
I'd argue that most people in this movie can't. I think he'd fit right in.
Really? At the end, seeing that one kid's pop locking and he's doing break
I said
dancing.
most.
The kid with the glasses, the nerdiest one.
Trust me, I remember the pop locking.
He can move.
Amen.
His neck goes shoulder to shoulder when he does his. I was like, whoa, who is this? A
Brian,
robot?
for reference, just smacked his chin back and forth, thinking that that's what would mimic the dance move. I just want you to understand
Whatever
that.
happened to that kid? He's only in the end scene of the
Probably in
movie.
the Jabberwockies or something.
Man, can you imagine if you could do that?
Oh, I always wanted to be a good dancer because they always got the girls, the dancers.
I guess, yeah.
Patrick Swayze.
Imagine
Patrick
joining the
Swayze.
gymnastics team on top of that.
Oh boy.
I like the scene where he gets kicked off the gymnastics team, and then the gymnastics jocks drive by him. Like, you didn't make the team.
Loser.
That's just so mean after somebody doesn't make it. They're already trying to pick themselves up. They're like, you know what? Don't. Stay on the ground, you piece of crap.
They're like throwing beer cans at him like football players would do their gymnastics team.
Yeah, I know guys that did gymnastics in my hometown because a lot of them went on to do collegiate gymnastics. They weren't cool. We didn't fear them.
This is Case saying
No,
they
you have
weren't
to be
cool.
very strong to do gymnastics. Like, I dare you to do a handstand right now.
I'd break my neck.
Exactly.
Also, you were calling them not cool.
I stand by that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to the male gymnasts out there that I don't respect what you do.
He's in the basement drinking Mountain Dew like a bunch of losers in shape and on a team and succeeding. I don't think so. I'll be right here.
I don't know. I'm not impressed by it.
All right, so let's go. So Kenzie had told us when we talked about this 2 days ago, he was going to do this movie, that she was in the Footloose musical.
Yes.
And she was in a diner scene, which there isn't one in the movie.
Okay, so here's the thing. Obviously, when they make musicals, when the movie comes first, right? It's an adaptation, so you can only have so many scenes and areas. So instead of like, oh, they're by the railroad tracks, they're by here, they're by here, they're by here. A lot of the dialogue between the teenagers happened at the diner instead.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of the one-on-one scenes, conversations, arguments, whatever, talk about girls you like. We should be allowed to dance. It's all happening. Like, you're doing that at a diner. So that way you have a spot that you can keep resetting because you can't have them in 8 different spots all
Right.
having conversations and
Got it.
setting that scene up. So there is a diner. I was the owner of the diner.
Really?
So I was involved in a lot of the kids' conversations all the time.
Were you just butting in?
I was a wise beacon, you know? I knew what was going on. I knew they were dancing. I didn't call the cops or anything, but I'm like, okay, guys. I tried to help out a lot.
It was Kenzie, the diner owner of the
I was-
town.
But I was like the cool adult in town,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like
Sure.
they wanted to hang out there. I
Sort of the
wasn't-
Mr. Miyagi type. You're hanging around all these children
They
that
were
weren't
at
yours.
my restaurant, bitch. Okay, put some respect on my name. Paying customers, barely, cheap asses. But anyways, so I was like trying to be nice, trying to guide them, trying to, guide Kevin Bacon. It wasn't Kevin Bacon, but his character. And I realized that a lot of my lines, because they wrote me as like this sassy diner, cool aunt energy, are like kind of cancelable today.
Oh, you gonna read those?
So the one that I don't remember every conversation that I was part of in this, right? But I do remember one line where I was like mad and interrupted. And I'm like, that is so inappropriate. And I was talking to Willard, like the chunky cowboy friend.
Who, by the way, is Sean Penn's brother in the movie, Chris Penn. In real life, it's Sean
Yeah.
Penn's brother, Chris Penn.
Yes. So I'm talking to him. The kids are irritating me. And I go, Willard, the handicap parking space out front is for the physically disabled, not the mentally.
Oh!
That's my line to a teenager in my restaurant.
I hope you got a standing O after that line.
I got
Did it get a lot of laughs?
But I don't think you can say that.
Well, I think you're fine. That's great.
Did your
insane?
parents like high five each other after you said that line?
Well, what's funny is that they said that when they were there, People were asking about that at the show. They're like, "Oh, our daughter's in the show." And they're like, "Who's your daughter?" Like the one that owns the diner. They go, "She's really funny."
She's the ablest diner owner.
Yeah, well, absolutely. A lot of
Someday she'll
attitude.
get canceled, but she's really funny.
Listen, it's not my fault. I didn't write it.
That is awesome.
And, it was different times.
It's a different time. We didn't know. We didn't know.
We didn't know that would be offensive.
I hope you just look back on that and go, that was funny. I hope you don't go like, ugh.
I don't know. I'm happy there's not video of it. I don't want to get in trouble.
Oh, boy. That's amazing. Case, before you do a review, since you're speaking of lines, Case put this up yesterday saying he's going to review Footloose. And it's because this whole thing started because I do movie lines all the time because I know all the movies. And Case didn't know any of the movies I was talking about. And someone said, does Brian actually drop lines from Footloose?
Yeah, that was a question I got.
Now, I had to dig deep to think about this for a minute because it's not known for its lines.
Well, you called Case mentally disabled. That's what you meant.
Except for Kenzie in the musical, there were no good lines in the movie.
We had lines.
No,
The
because
music-
it's basically an action movie because the girl almost gets hit by the semi-truck. She almost gets hit by the train, and there's so much dancing. There's not a lot of great lines in this movie.
There is a couple I found. When they're in the bar early on and Willard wouldn't dance and that fat cowboy goes up to Sarah Jessica Parker and takes her out to the dance floor. And then Willard gets too drunk and goes up to him and he goes, "Hey, I came here with that girl." And he goes, "Well, it looks like I'm leaving with her." That's a good line.
That's a great line.
And there's another line I remembered. I had to dig deep and look this up. When Ariel and Kevin Bacon are alone.
I like how everyone else gets the name. Like, we're like Ariel. Kevin
Bacon.
Kevin Bacon.
What was his name again?
Ren McCormick.
Ren McCormick. Yeah, okay.
Ren.
So Ariel and Ren, I think it was after Ariel's boyfriend beat her up.
Boy, she got her ass kicked a few different times with this movie.
Yeah, it was rough.
I felt really
I should have
bad.
played Ariel. I was like, I get it.
Oh my God. So, and it's all this very sentimental moment. And she looks at him and goes, "Do you want to kiss me?" And he goes, "Someday." Now, what guy? Of course I'm going to kiss her if she says
We're gonna
that.
pencil that in for next week.
God forbid he to take advantage of her in a really horrible moment where she's going to the and Brian. It bothers Brian.
She offered.
Plus, you might never get that moment again.
That's right.
She goes, "You want to kiss me?" "Someday." God, that's pretty cool, actually. It's pretty cool to have that wherewithal knowing you're going to kiss her
He's
someday.
like a wise man.
All right, Ken. Okay, so let's bring it home here. So, Footloose. How many feet?
Yeah,
are you
let's rate
rating
it
on
out of
that?
feet.
So 1 out of 10 feet. What do you give Footloose?
I give it 5 feet.
Really?
It was. I didn't hate this movie.
Okay.
I like this. For reference, last week we did Independence Day. I like this way more than
That's
Independence Day.
unbelievable.
Yeah. This movie, it's 2 hours long. It doesn't really drag. I thought every scene made sense. It's just the overall idea of the movie and Kevin Bacon's obsession with dance. That's what I bump on. But
Which
it's
is
not
intriguing.
It's not a bad movie.
I know.
It's fine. It's charming. It's nice. It's 80s. It's 80s. It's
It's
very
like you're gritting
80s.
your
It's
teeth to
vibey.
say that.
It's fine. I'm not going to watch it again, but I've seen worse movies. I've seen Braveheart. It's far worse.
You think Braveheart's worse than Footloose?
I'll take Footloose any day of the week.
That's a lot.
Wow.
That's a lot to say.
There you go. Case's movie reviews every Friday here with Brian and Kenzie on Q101.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.